What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Java Hoops, and I'm finally back with another upload. In today's video, we'll be going over, are the Memphis Grizzlies underrated now? We all know that, Ja Morant was out all last season due to an injury. He played about 9 games last season. He was injured. And I feel like they could honestly be a tad bit underrated. Like I said, especially since Ja Morant missed out on, most of last season due to injury. And like I said, man, I think Ja Morant and the Grizzlies could be underrated because how good they are. You know what I'm saying? I feel like people did kind of forget how good they are, including myself, because when I did the top 5 teams in the West right now, I had a comment. His name was Sparks2879. I appreciate you for commenting actually on my video. He said, bro, people sleeping on Memphis, man. So I kind of agree with him. He said that when I made my top 5 video, I didn't have Memphis in my top 5. And when Sparks commented that, people is sleeping on Memphis, I thought about myself a little bit like, oops, like I kind of did forget about Memphis when I was making my top 5 teams in the West. I still believe Phoenix got the edge over them. We got a little more firepower, stuff like that. You comment down below if you think Memphis is better than Phoenix. Like I said, I still believe Memphis got to get their, chemistry back down. Like I said, it's been a whole year since this team has been fully healthy. They got some new additions like Marcus Smart, who hasn't really played a lot. And you just added Zach Edey. You know what I'm saying? Zach Edey ain't all that, but he is a young prospect coming out of college. Played pretty good in college. Pretty solid big man, can protect the rim. If he can, I don't think he can stretch the floor, but if he ever could start stretching the floor for the Grizzlies, he could be dangerous. I feel like Zach Edey gonna be very good for the Memphis Grizzlies on defense. Ja Morant's last healthy season, which is the 22-23 season, Ja Morant played 61 games and he averaged 26.2 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game, and averaged 8.1 assists. So you talking about, young and, rising superstars. Ja Morant is right in that question. He's right in that conversation with Anthony Edwards and guys like that, I feel like people did forget about Ja Morant and, everybody started focusing on Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards just had a crazy season last season, and the year before that it was Ja Morant. Ja Morant just has been injured, so I can't wait to see Ja Morant come back and we see some battles between him and Anthony Edwards and him and Luka. 2022, Ja Morant did lead the Memphis Grizzlies to the playoffs. They actually beat Minnesota in the first round, which they beat them in 6 games. And I'm not gonna lie, back then in that series, I had the Minnesota Timberwolves winning. That's back when they had obviously Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, and they actually had D'Angelo Russell as their point guard. I thought the Minnesota Timberwolves had the talent to defeat the Grizzlies, but that's when the Grizzlies showed everybody that they are true contenders. They had good role players at the time, and Ja Morant was playing, his best basketball, and that was a very fun series to watch, But ultimately, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies beat the T-Wolves and Anthony Edwards, and then they got to the second round against the Warriors, where they lost in 6 games. So just the fact that they beat Minnesota in the first round and then took the Golden State Warriors to 6 games was actually pretty impressive to me. That's when the Grizzlies start kind of opening my eyes. Like, okay, like Memphis is actually a team that, a contender. You know what I'm saying? Memphis is actually a contender. So that's when they opened my eyes. And in 2023, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies played the LA Lakers in the first round and will ultimately lose in 6 games. Okay, they did lose 6 games against the Lakers, which really wasn't a bad, series loss. The Lakers was a talented team. Anthony Davis and LeBron James is still a top tier duo in the league. I don't care what you say. And the Grizzlies is just a young team. I wouldn't see them really. I mean, they could have won, with the talent they had, but LeBron's experience and Anthony Davis' dominance, is just too much, I feel like, at the time. So, and I just feel like people forget about people like Desmond Bane. Like, Desmond Bane is a true hooper. I feel like he fits so perfect next to Ja Morant. Now, I will say I don't know how they're going to run their starting lineup because their lineup is kind of small. Like, they kind of run a small ball when you're talking about 1 and 3. They got Ja Morant, Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane. I don't know if they're going to start all 3 of those guys or what. Desmond Bane averaged 23.7 points per game last season while shooting 46.4% from the field and 38.1% from the 3. So, you talk about Desmond Bane, he's a legit second option for the Grizzlies. Can knock down the 3 ball, obviously pretty physical, can play a little bit of defense, is kind of, short for a 2 guard, but I feel like Desmond Bane is a solid starter for the Memphis Grizzlies. I feel like people forget how deadly he is from 3. And they also, I feel like people also forget that they have former Defensive Player of the Year Marcus Smart on the team now. I feel like when they got Marcus Smart, they added a lot more defense on the perimeter now. They got defense on the perimeter and in the paint, you know what I'm saying? Because they got Jaren Jackson Jr. and now that they just added Zach Edey, who was 7'1", good rim protection. So I just think this team got a lot of potential on the defensive side, and obviously on the offense, you got Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., you know, guys that can score the ball. So, and I do feel like people has been sleeping on them, just simply due to because we haven't been seeing them play. You know what I'm saying, with Ja Morant, and they have been a whole different team last season. They was obviously tanking last season. They didn't really, you know, care. Desmond Bane obviously averaged a little more points per game because Ja Morant was out of the lineup. But I feel like he could do that still when Ja Morant come back. I think Desmond Bane has took that next leap. He gonna average somewhere around 23 points per game again. He's the legit second option. Ja Morant is going to depend on him to help him close games and stuff like that. So I do feel like the Grizzlies are getting there. You know what I'm saying? They getting there, but the Grizzlies still do have a lot of competition in the Western Conference. They have Luka and the Mavs. They got obviously LeBron and the Lakers still. They got, I mean, the Clippers not really in the conversation no more, but you still got OKC and Minnesota and Denver. So yeah, man, I honestly, me, if I was to answer the question, are the Memphis Grizzlies underrated now, I would personally say yes. But they're not too underrated. Like, we all still know what they're, you know, I think we all still know what the Memphis Grizzlies are capable of. But I do believe that they are a tad bit underrated. This team actually they can make it out of the West. They're a dark horse every year, I think, you know. But do they have that star power to get over the hump? I don't know if they do. Like I said, it's a couple teams I would put over them. I would say they're in that Phoenix, Lakers, you know, they in that conversation. If they could beat like the Lakers or the Suns, then maybe we can talk about, you know, Minnesota, Dallas. I don't think they up there with Dallas and Minnesota yet, just because, you know, Minnesota and Dallas has been late. They made it late in the playoffs last season, so it's kind of hard to compare, you know, a team that hasn't really been in contention for a whole year versus two teams that has been in contention in the last few years. So yeah, man, I feel like Memphis is definitely underrated, and this is a team to watch, man. Keep your eyes on Memphis. Memphis can surprise you, and they got a lot of young talent on that team, so don't forget about the Memphis Grizzlies, man. Yeah, I just want to talk about them real quick. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you agree with me and you feel like the Memphis Grizzlies are a little bit underrated, comment down below. If you disagree, comment down below. I love you guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in the next one.